देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी
भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिकी
Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 chapter 17 reading beginning today. Let me share the screen. Punishment and reward. Of Kali. Text 1. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 chapter 17 verse 1. Sutta Uvacha
Sutta Uvacha
Tatra Gomitunam Raja
Tatra Gomithunam Raja
Hanyamanam Anathavat
Hanyamanam Anathavat
Dandahastam Chavrishalam
Dandahastam cha Vrishalam
Dadrishendra Palanchanam.
Dadrashe Nripalanchanam.
Translation purport by Stephen Grace Abhay Charanarinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Synonyms. Sutta Uvacha, Sri Sutta Goswami said.
Sutta Uvacha, Sri Sutta Goswami said.
Tatra thereupon.
Tatra thereupon.
Go Mithunam.
Go Mithunam.
A cow and a bull.
A cow and a bull.
Raja the king.
Raja the king.
Hanyamanam being beaten.
Hanyamanam being beaten.
Anathavat appearing to be bereft of their owner.
Anathavat appearing to be bereft of their owner.
Dandahastam with a club in hand.
Dandahastam with a club in hand.
Cha also.
Cha also.
Vrishalam lower caste Shudra.
Vrishalam lower caste Sudra.
Dadrashe observed.
Dadrashe observed.
Nrupa a king.
Nripa a king.
Lanchanam dressed like.
Lanchanam dressed like.
Translation, please repeat after me. Sutta Goswami said.
Sutta Goswami said.
After reaching that place.
After reaching that place.
Maharaja Parikshit observed that.
Maharaja Parikshit observed that.
A lower caste Shudra.
A lower caste Shudra.
Dressed like a king.
Dressed like a king.
Was beating a cow and a bull with a club.
Was beating a cow and a bull with a club.
As if they had no owner.
As if they had no owner. The principal sign of the age of Kali is that lower caste, Shudras, that is, men without Brahminical culture and spiritual initiation, will be dressed like administrators or kings. And the principal business of such non-Kshatriya rulers will be to kill the innocent animals, especially the cows and the bulls, who shall be unprotected by their masters, the bona fide Vaishyas, the mercantile community. In the Bhagavad Gita 18.44, it is said that the Vaishyas are meant to deal in agriculture, cow protection and trade. In the age of Kali, the degraded Vaishyas, the mercantile men, are engaged in supplying cows to slaughterhouses. The Kshatriyas are meant to protect the citizens of the state, whereas the Vaishyas are meant to protect the cows and bulls and utilize them to produce grains and milk. The cow is meant to deliver milk, and the bull is meant to produce grains. But in the age of Kali, the Shudra class of men are in the process of administrators, and the cows and bulls, or the mothers and the fathers, unprotected by the Vaishyas, are subjected to the slaughterhouses organized by the Shudra administrators.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, Verse 2. Vrisham Runala Davalam
Vrishamvinala Davalam
Mehantam Iva Bibyatam
Mehantam Iva Vipyatam
Vipyatam
Vepamanam Padaikena
Vipamanam
Vepamanam
Padaikena
Padaikena
Siddhantam Shudrataditam.
Siddhantam
Siddhantam
Sudrataditam
Sudrataritam.
Synonyms: Vrisham, the bull.
Vrisham
Krisham,
the
the
bull,
bull.
Mrunala Davalam, as white as a white lotus.
Mrinala Davalam,
Rinala
as white as
Dhavalam,
white lotus,
as white as the white lotus.
Mehantam, urinating,
Mehantam
Mehantam,
urinating,
urinating.
as if. Iva, as if.
Eva as
Eva,
if,
as if.
Bibyatham, being too afraid.
Bibyatam being
Bibyatam,
too
being too
afraid,
afraid.
Vepamanam, trembling.
Vipamanam trembling,
Vepamanam, trembling.
Pada Ekene, standing on only one leg.
Pada Ekena
Pada
standing on
Ekena,
only one
standing
leg,
on only one leg.
Siddhantam, terrified.
Siddhantam
Siddhantam,
terrified,
terrified.
Shudrataditham, being bitten by a Shudra.
Shudrataditam being bitten by a
Sudrataditam,
Shudra.
being beaten by a Shudra.
Translation, please repeat after me. The bull was as white as a white lotus flower.
The
The bull
bull
was
was as
advised
white as a white
as a
lotus
white
flower.
lotus flower.
He was terrified of the Shudra who was beating him.
He
He was
was
terrified of the
terrified
Shudra who was
of the
beating him.
Shudra who was beating him.
And he was so afraid that he was standing on one leg,
And he was so
And he was
afraid that
so
he was
afraid
standing
that he
on
was
one leg,
standing on one leg,
trembling and urinating.
trembling
trembling
and
and
urinating.
urinating.
Purport. The next symptom of the age of Kali is that principles of religion, which are all spotlessly white, like the white lotus flower, will be attacked by the uncultured Sudra population of the age. They may be descendants of Brahmana or Kshatriya forefathers, but in the age of Kali, for want of sufficient education and culture of Vedic wisdom, such a Sudra-like population will defy the principles of religions, and persons who are religiously endowed with religiously endowed will be terrified by such men. They will declare themselves as adherents of no religious principles, and many isms and cults will spring up in Kali Yuga, only to kill the spotless bull of religion. The state will be declared to be secular or without any particular principle of religion, and as a result, there will be total indifference to the principles of religion. The citizens will be free to act as they like without respect for sadhu, shastra, and guru. The bull standing on one leg indicates that the principles of religion are gradually diminishing. Even the fragmental existence of religious principles will be embarrassed by so many obstacles as if in the trembling condition of falling down at any time.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, Verse 3. Gam cha dharmadu gam dinam
Gam
Gam
chadharma
Chadarma
dugam dinam,
Dugamdinam.
Brusham Shudra Padahatam
Risham
Drisham
sudra
Shudra
padahatam,
Padahatam.
Vivatsam Ashruvadanam
Vivatshama
Vivatshama
Shruvadanam,
Shruvadanam.
Shamam Yavasam Ichatim.
Shamam
Shamam
Yavasam
Yavasadam
Ichatim.
Ichatim.
Synonyms: Gam, the cow.
Gam the
Calm the
cow.
cow,
Sir, also.
sir
Cha
also.
also.
Dharmadugam, beneficial because one can draw religion from her.
Dharma
Dharma
to
Dugam
beneficial
beneficial
because
because
one
one
can
can draw
draw
religion for
from
her
her.
from her.
Dinam, now rendered poor.
Dinam now
Dinam now
rendered poor,
rendered poor.
Brusham, distressed.
Vrisham
Drisham
distressed,
distressed.
Shudra, the low caste.
Shudra the low
Shudra the
caste,
lower caste.
Padahatam, beaten on the legs.
the ahatam beaten
Padahatam
on the
beaten on the
legs,
leg.
Vivatsam, without any calf.
Vivatsam
Vivatsam
without any
without
calf,
any calf.
Ashruvadanam, with tears in her eyes.
Ashruvadanam, with
with
tears
tears
in
in
her
his eyes.
eyes.
Kshamam, very weak.
Shamam, very weak.
Yavasam, grass.
Yavasam,
Yavasam, grass.
Ichatim, as if desiring to have some grass to eat.
Ikshatim, as if desiring to
deciding
have
to have
some grass
some
to
grass
eat.
to eat.
Translation, please repeat after me. Although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her,
Although the cow is
Although the cow is
beneficial
beneficial
because
because
our
one can
religious
draw religious
principles
principles from
from
her,
her,
she was now rendered poor and calfless.
she
she
was
was
now
now
poor
rendered
and
poor and
powerful.
calfless.
Her legs were being beaten by a Shudra.
Her legs
Her
were
legs were
beaten by
being bitten by a Shudra.
There were tears in her eyes,
there were
There were
tears
tears
in
in
her
her eyes,
and she was distressed and weak.
and
and
she
she
was
was
distressed
distressed
and weak.
and weak.
She was hankering after some grass in the field.
She was hankering after some grass in the field.
Purport. The next symptom of the age of Kali is the distressed condition of the cow. Milking the cow means drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. The great rishis and munis would live only on milk. Srila Sukadeva Goswami would go to a householder while he was milking a cow, and he would simply take a little quantity of it for subsistence. Even 50 years ago, no one would deprive a sadhu of a quart of two of milk, and every householder would give milk like water. For a Sanatanist, a follower of Vedic principles, it is the duty of every householder to have cows and bulls as household paraphernalia, not only for drinking milk, but also for deriving religious principles. The Sanatanist worships cow on religious principles and respects Brahmanas. The cow's milk is required for the sacrificial fire, and by performing sacrifices, the householder can be happy. The cow's calf not only is beautiful to look at, but also gives satisfaction to the cow. And so she delivers as much milk as possible. But in the Kali Yuga, the calves are separated from the cows as early as possible for purposes which may not be mentioned in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. The cow stands with tears in her eyes. The Shudra milkman draws milk from the cow artificially. And when there is no milk, the cow is sent to be slaughtered. These greatly sinful acts are responsible for all the troubles in present society. People do not know what they are doing. In the name of economic development, the influence of Kali will keep them in the darkness of ignorance. Despite all endeavors for peace and prosperity, they must try to see the cows and the bulls happy in all respects. Foolish people do not know how one earns happiness by making the cows and bulls happy, but it is a fact by the law of nature. Let us take it from the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam and adopt the principles for the total happiness of humanity. Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canton, chapter 17, verse 4. Papracharatam arudha
Prapracharatam rudha
Kartasvara parichadam
Kartasvara parichadam
Mega gambiraya vacha
Megha gambhiraya vacha
Samaropita karmuka.
Samaropita karmukha.
Synonyms. Papracha, inquired.
Papracha inquired.
Ratham, chariot.
Ratam, chariot.
Aruda, seated on.
Aruda, seated on.
Kartasvara, gold.
Kartaswara, gold.
Parichadam, embossed with.
Parichadam, embossed with.
Megha, cloud.
Megha, cloud.
Gambiraya, exonerating.
Gambhiraya, exonerating.
Vacha, sound.
Vacha, sound.
Samaropita, well equipped.
Samaropita, well equipped.
Karmukha, arrows and bow.
Karmukha, arrows and bow.
Translation, please repeat after me. Maharaja Parikshit, well equipped with arrows and bow.
Maharaja Parikshit, well equipped with arrows and bow.
And seated on a gold embossed chariot.
And seated on gold embossed chariot.
Spoke to him the Shudra with a deep voice sounding like thunder.
Spoke to him the Shudra with a deep voice sounding like thunder.
Purport.
An administrative head or king like Maharaja Parikshit with full majestic authority, well equipped with weapons to chastise miscreants, can challenge the agents of the age of Kali. The only will it be possible to counteract the degraded age. And in the absence of such strong executive heads, there is always disruption of tranquility. The elected show bottle executive head as representative of a degraded public cannot be equal to a strong king like Maharaja Parikshit. The dress or style of royal orders does not count. It is one's action which are counted.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, verse 5. Kastvam Macharane Loke
Kastvam macharane loke
Baladhamsi Abalan Bali
baladhamsi abalan bali
Naradevo Siveshena
naradevo sive sena
Natavat Karmana Dvija.
natavat karmana advija.
Synonyms: Ka, who are;
Ka who are,
Tvam, you;
tvam you,
Mat, my;
mat my,
Sharane, under protection;
sharani under protection,
Loke, in this world;
loke in this world,
Balad, by force;
balad by force,
Hamsi, killing;
hamsi killing,
Avalan, those who are helpless;
abalan those who are helpless,
Bali, although full of strength;
bali although full of strength,
Naradeva, man god;
naradeva man god,
Asi, appear to be;
asi appear to be,
Veshena, by your dress;
veshana by your dress,
Natavat, like a theatrical player;
natavat like a theatrical player,
Karmana, by deeds;
karmana by deeds,
Advija, a man not twice born by culture.
advija, a man not twice born by culture.
Translation, please repeat after me. Oh, where are you?
Oh,
Oh, who are you?
oh, who are you?
You appear to be strong, and yet you dare kill within my protection
You appear to be strong, and yet you dare kill within my protection
those who are helpless.
those who are helpless.
By your trust, you pose yourself to be a godly man, king.
By your dress, you pose yourself to be a godly man, king.
But by your deeds, you are opposing the principles of the twice-born Kshatriyas.
But by your deeds, you are opposing the principles of the twice-born Kshatriyas.
Purport, Preeti Rupini. Purport. The Brahmanas. Yeah, go ahead.
The Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas are called twice born because for these higher classes of men, there is one birth by parental conjugation and there is another birth of cultural rejuvenation by spiritual initiation from the bona fide acharya or spiritual master. So a Kshatriya is also twice born like a Brahmana, and his duty is to give protection to the helpless. The Kshatriya king is considered to be the representative of God to give protection to the helpless and chastise the miscreants. Whenever there are anomalies in this routine work by the administrators, there is an incarnation of the Lord to reestablish the principles of a godly kingdom. In the age of Kali, the poor helpless animals, especially the cows, which are meant to receive all sorts of protection from the administrative heads, are killed without restriction. Thus, the administrative heads under whose noses such things happen are representatives of God in name only. Such powerful administrators are rulers of the poor citizens by dress or office. But factually, they are worthless, lower class men without the cultural assets of the twice born. No one can expect justice or equality of treatment from once born, spiritually uncultured lower class men. Therefore, in the age of Kali, everyone is unhappy due to the maladministration of the state. The modern human society is not toys born by spiritual culture. Therefore, the people's government by the people who are not twice born must be a government of Kali in which everyone is unhappy.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, chapter 17, verse 6. Yes, Tvam Krishne Gate Duram.
Yes, Tvam Krishne Gate Duram.
Sahagandiva Danavana.
Sahagandiva
Sahagandiva
Shotyosya Sotyan Rahasi.
Sochyosi
Sochyan Rahasi.
Rahasi
Praharan Vadham Arhasi.
Praharan
Praharan
Vadham.
Vadam Arhasi.
Synonyms here on account of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
on
account
account
of
of
Tvam, you rogue.
Tvam, you
Tvam,
rogue.
you dog.
Krishna, Lord Krishna.
Krishna, Lord Krishna.
Gate, having gone away.
Gate,
Gate
having
having
gone away.
gone away.
Duram, out of sight.
Duram,
Out of sight.
Saha, along with.
Saha,
along
along with
Gandhiva, the bow named Gandhiva.
Gandiva,
Gandiva,
the
the
bow
bow
named Gandiva.
Gandiva.
Dhanvana, the carrier Arjuna.
Dhanvana, the
Dhanvana,
carrier.
the carrier Arjuna.
Shotya, culprit.
Sochya, culprit.
Sochya, culprit.
Asi, you are considered.
Asi,
Asi,
or
you are considered.
Ashotyan, innocent.
Assochyan.
Asocian, innocent.
Rahasi, in a secluded place.
Rahasi,
Rahasi, in a secluded place.
Praharan, beating.
Praharan, beating.
Praharan, beating.
Vadam, to be killed.
Vadam,
To be killed.
Arhasi, deserve.
Arhasi, deserve.
Arhasi, deserve.
Translation, please repeat after me. You rogue, do you dare beat an innocent cow?
You rogue, do you dare beat innocent cow?
Because Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the carrier of the Gandiva bow, are out of sight.
Because Lord Krishna and
Krishna
Arjuna,
and
the
Arjuna, the
carrier
carrier
of
of
the
the
Gandiva bow,
Gandiva
are out of
are out of
sight.
sight.
Since you are beating the innocent in a secluded place,
Since you're beating the
you are
innocent
beating
secluded place,
in secluded place,
you are considered a culprit.
you are considered a culprit.
And therefore deserve to be killed.
And therefore deserve to be killed.
Purport. In a civilization where God is conspicuously banished and there is no devotee warrior like Arjuna, the associates of the age of Kali take advantage of this lawless kingdom and arrange to kill innocent animals like the cow in secluded slaughterhouses. Such murders of animals stand to be condemned to death by the order of a pious king like Maharaja Parikshit. For a pious king, the culprit who kills an animal in a secluded place is punishable by the death penalty, exactly like a murderer who kills an innocent child in a secluded place. Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto chapter 17, verse 7. Tvam va mrunala dhavala. Padhair nyuna padacharan. Vrisharupena kim gaschet.
Vrisharupena kim gaschet.
Devo na parikhedayan.
Devo na parikhedayan.
But synonyms. Tvam, you.
Tvam, you.
Va, either.
Either.
Mrala dhavala, as white as a lotus.
Mrinala,
white as a lotus.
as white as a lotus.
Padaihi, of 3 legs.
Padaihi, of 3 legs.
Nyunha, being deprived.
Nyuna, being deprived.
Pada, on 1 leg.
Pada, on one
leg.
Charan, moving.
Charan, moving.
Vrisha, bull.
bull.
Rupena, in the form of.
Rupena, in the form of.
Kim, weather.
Kim, weather.
Kaschit, someone.
Kaschit, someone.
Deva, demigod.
Deva, demigod.
Na, us.
Us.
Parikedayan, causing grief.
Parikedayan, causing grief.
Translation, please repeat after me. Then he, Maharaja Parikshit, asked the bull.
Then he, Maharaja Parikshit, asked the bull.
Oh, who are you?
Oh, who are you?
Who are you?
Are you a bull as white as a white lotus?
Are you
a bull as white as a white lotus?
Or are you a demigod?
Or are you a demigod?
You have lost 3 of your legs.
You have lost 3 of your legs.
And are moving on only one.
And are moving on only one.
Are you some demigod causing us grief in the form of a bull?
Are you some demigod causing us grief in the form of a bull? Purport. At least up to the time of Maharaja Parikshit, no one could imagine the rest conditions of the cow and the bull. Maharaja Parikshit therefore was astonished to see such a horrible scene. He inquired whether the bull was not a demigod, assuming such a rest condition to indicate the future of the cow and the bull.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto chapter 17 verse 8. Najatu Kauravendranam.
Najatu Kauravendranam.
Durdhandha Parirambite.
Durdhandha Parirambite.
Uthale Anupatantyasmin.
Bhutale Anupatantasmin.
Vinate Praninam Shucha. Synonyms: none, not.
Not.
Jatu at any time.
Jatu at any time.
Kauravendranam of the kings in the Kuru dynasty.
Kauravendranam of the kings in the Kuru dynasty.
Dordhanda, strength of arms.
Dordhanda, strength of arms.
Parirambite, protected by.
Parirambite, protected by.
Bhuthale, on the surface of the earth.
Bhutale, on the surface of the earth.
Anupatanti, grieving.
Anupatanti, grieving.
Asmin, up till now.
Asmin, up till now.
Vina, save and accept.
Vina, save and accept.
Teyu.
Teyu.
Praninam of the living being.
Praninam of the living being.
Sucha, tears in the eyes.
Sucha, tears in the eyes.
Translation, please repeat after me. Now, for the first time in a kingdom well protected by the arms of the kings of the Kuru dynasty.
Now, for the first time in the kingdom well protected by the arms of the king of the Kuru dynasty.
I see you grieving with tears in your eyes.
I see you grieving tears in your eyes.
Up till now, no one on earth has ever shed tears because of royal negligence.
Up till now, no one on earth has ever shed tears because of royal negligence.
Purport.
The protection of the lives of both the human beings and the animals is the first and foremost duty of a government. A government must not discriminate in such principles. It is simply horrible for a pure-hearted soul to see organized animal killing by the state in this age of Kali. Maharaja Parikshit was lamenting for the tears in the eyes of the bull, and he was astonished to see such an unprecedented thing in his good kingdom. Men and animals were equally protected as far as life was concerned. That is the way in God's kingdom.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, verse 9. Masaurabe yatra sucho.
Masaurabe yatra sucho.
Vyetu te vrashaladbayam.
Vyetu te vrashaladbayam.
Marodhirambavadram te.
Marodhirambavadram te.
Kalanamaishastari.
Kalanamaishastari.
Synonyms: ma, do not.
Ma, do not.
Saurabheya, oh son of Surabhi.
Saurabheya, son of Surabhi.
Atra, in my kingdom.
Atra, in my kingdom.
Sucha, lamentation.
Sucha, lamentation.
Vyetu, let there be.
Vetu, let there be.
Te, your.
Te, your.
Vrishalat, by the Sudra.
Vrishalat, by the
Sudra.
Bhayam, cause of fear.
Bhayam, cause of fear.
Ma, do not.
Ma, do not.
Rodhi, cry.
Rodhi, cry.
Amba, mother cow.
Amba, mother cow.
Badram, all good.
Badram,
All good.
Stay unto you.
say
Say
unto you,
unto you,
Kalanam of the envious.
Kalana Mosen,
Pranam of the envious.
Mai, while I am living.
my
My,
Vaila,
I am living.
Shastri, the ruler or subduer.
Shastri, the ruler of subduer.
Translation, please repeat after me. O son of Surabhi,
O
O
son
son
of
of
Surabhi,
Surabhi,
you need lament no longer now.
you need lament no longer now.
There is no need to fear this low-class Shudra.
There is no need to fear this low class Shudra.
And O mother cow,
And O mother cow,
as long as I am living as the ruler and subduer of all envious men,
as long as I am living as the ruler and subduer of all envious men,
there is no cause for you to cry.
there is no cause for you to cry.
Everything will be good for you.
Everything will be good for you.
Good for you.
Purport.
Purport. Protection of bulls and cows and all other animals can be possible only when there is a state ruled by an executive head like Maharaja Parikshit. Maharaja Parikshit addresses the cow as mother, for he is a cultured, twice-born Kshatriya king. Sir, Surbhi is the name of the cows which exist in the spiritual planets, and are especially reared by Lord Sri Krishna himself. As men are made after the form and features of the Supreme Lord, so also the cows are made after the form and features of Surbhi, cows in the spiritual kingdom. In the material world, the human society gives all protection to the human being, but there is no law to protect the descendants of Surbhi, who can give all protection to men by supplying the miracle food, milk. But Maharaja Parikshit and Pandavas were fully conscious of the importance of the cow and bull, and they were prepared to punish the cow killer with all chastisement, including death. There has sometimes been agitation for the protection of the cow, but for want of pious executive heads and suitable laws, the cow and the bull are not given protection. The human society should recognize the importance of the cow and the bull and thus give all protection to these important animals, following in the footsteps of Maharaja Parikshit. For protecting the cows and Brahminical culture, the Lord, who is very kind to the cow and the Brahmanas, Go Brahmana Hit, will be pleased with us and will bestow upon us
Real peace.
real peace.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, verse 10 and 11. Yasya rashtre praja sarvas
Yasya Raja Sarvas,
rasyante sadvi asadhubi
Prasyante Sadhu Sadhubhi,
tasya mattasya nashyanti
Tasya matasya nashyanti
Kirtir ayurbhago gati.
Kirti
Esharajnam paro dharmo.
Desharanyam paro dharmo.
Ki arthanam arti nigraha.
Arti nigraha.
Ataenam vadishyami.
Atainam vadishyami.
Utadruham asattamam.
Bhutagruham ashattamam.
Synonyms: yasya, one whose.
one whose.
Rashtre, in the
Asya,
state.
one whose.
Rashtre in the
Rashtre
state.
in the state.
Praja, living beings.
Praja,
Praja, living beings.
Sarva, one and all.
Sarva,
Sarva,
one and
one
all.
and all.
Prasyante, are terrified.
Kashyanti
Are
are terrified.
Sadvi, O chaste one.
Sadvi, O chaste
Sadvi,
one.
one.
Asadhubi, by the miscreants.
Asadubhi, by the miscreants.
Tasya, his.
Tasya, his.
Tasya, his.
Mattasya, Mattasya, of the illusion.
Matasya,
Matasya,
of the illusion.
Nashyanti, vanishes.
Nashyanti, vanishes.
Kirti, fame.
Kirti, fame.
Kirti, fame.
Ayu, duration of life.
Ayu, duration of
Ayu,
life.
duration of life.
Bhaga, fortune.
Bhaga, fortune.
Fortune.
Gati, good rebirth.
Gati, good rebirth.
Esha, these are.
Esha, these are.
Rajnam, of the kings.
Rajna of the kings.
Para, superior.
Para, superior.
Dharma, occupation.
Dharma,
Occupation.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Arthanam, of the sufferers.
Arthanam, of the sufferers.
Arti, sufferings.
Arti, springs.
Nigraha, subduing.
Nigraha, subduing.
Ata, therefore.
Ata, therefore.
Enam, this man.
Enam, man.
Vadishyami, I shall kill.
Vadishyami, I shall kill.
Bhutadruham, a revolter against other living beings.
Bhutadroham, revolter against other living beings.
Asattamam, the most wretched.
Asattamam, the most wretched.
Translation, please repeat after me. O chaste one.
O chaste
one.
The king's good name, duration of life, and good rebirth.
The king's good name, duration of life, and good rebirth.
Vanish when all kinds of living beings are terrified.
Vanish
all kinds of living beings are terrified
by miscreants in his kingdom.
By miscreants
in his kingdom.
It is certainly the prime duty of the king.
It is certainly the prime duty
of the king
to subdue first the sufferings of those who suffer.
To subdue first the sufferings
of those who suffer.
Therefore,
I
must kill this most wretched man because
I must kill this most wretched
man because
he is violent against other living beings.
He is violent
against other living beings.
Purport.
When there is some disturbance caused by wild animals in a village or town, the police or others take action to kill them. Similarly, it is the duty of the government to kill at once all bad social elements such as thieves, dacoits, and murderers. The same punishment is also due to animal killers because the animals of the state are also the praja. Praja means one who has taken birth in the state, and this includes both men and animals. Any living being who takes birth in a state has the primary right to live under the protection of the king. The jungle animals are also subject to the king, and they also have a right to live. So, what to speak of domestic animals like the cows and bulls? Any living being, if he terrifies other living beings, is a most wretched subject, and the king should at once kill such a disturbing element. As the wild animal is killed when it creates disturbances, similarly, any man who unnecessarily kills or terrifies the jungle animals or other animals must be punished at once. By the law of the Supreme Lord, all living beings, in whatever shape they may be, are the sons of the Lord, and no one has any right to kill another animal, unless it is so ordered by the courts of natural law. The tiger can kill a lower animal for his subsistence, but a man cannot kill an animal for his subsistence. That is the law of God, who has created the law that a living being subsists by eating another living being. Thus, the vegetarians are also living by eating other living beings. Therefore, the law is that one should live only by eating specific living beings. As ordained by the law of God, the Ishopanishad directs that one should live by the direction of the Lord and not at one's sweet will. A man can subsist on varieties of grains, fruits, and milk ordained by God, and there is no need of animal food, save and except in particular cases. The illusion king or executive head, even though sometimes advertised as a great philosopher and learned scholar, will allow slaughterhouses in the state without knowing that torturing poor animals clears the way to hell for such foolish kings or executive heads. The executive head must always be alert to the safety of the prajas, both man and animal, and inquire whether a particular living being is harassed at any place by another living being. The harassing living being must at once be caught and put to death, as shown by Maharaja Parikshit. The people's government, or government by the people, should not allow killing of innocent animals by the sweet will of foolish government men. They must know the codes of God, as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Maharaja Parikshit quotes here that according to the codes of God, the irresponsible king or state executive jeopardizes his good name, duration of life, power and strength, and ultimately his progressive march towards a better life and salvation after death. Such foolish men do not even believe in the existence of a next life. While commenting on this particular verse, we have in our presence the statement of a great modern politician who has recently died and left his will, which discloses his poor fund of knowledge of the codes of God mentioned by Maharaja Parikshit. The politician was so ignorant of the codes of God that he writes, I do not believe in any such ceremonies, and to submit to them, even as a matter of form, would be hypocrisy and an attempt to delude ourselves and others. I have no religious sentiment in the matter. Contrasting the statements of a great politician in the modern age with those of Maharaja Parikshit, we find a vast difference. Maharaja Parikshit was pious according to the scriptural codes, whereas the modern politician goes by his personal belief and sentiments. Any great man of the material world is, after all, a conditioned soul. He is bound by his heads and feet by the ropes of material nature, and still the foolish conditioned soul thinks of himself as free to act by his whimsical sentiments. The conclusion is that people in the time of Maharaja Parikshit were happy, and the animals were given proper protection because the executive head was not whimsical or ignorant of God's law. Foolish, faithless creatures try to avoid the existence of the Lord and proclaim themselves secular at the cost of valuable human life. The human life is specially meant for knowing the signs of God, but foolish creatures, especially in this age of Kali, instead of knowing God scientifically, make propaganda against religious belief as well as the existence of God, even though they are always bound by the laws of God by the symptoms of birth, death, old age, and disease.
Hari Om Tat Sat. So we'll wind up here today, and tomorrow is Janmashtami. And tomorrow we will resume our reading at 7 o'clock in the morning. Till then, Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Anybody has any questions or comments or realization, you can share with us. Very wonderful, wonderful purports we have seen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you very much. So, Patitapan Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Bhagavat Satsang ki jai.
Jai.
Vaishnav Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyacha kripa sindhubhya eva cha
Patitanam
Vaishnavyo
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 Namo
Namo
Namaha.
Namah. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai.